Hey everyone, Zephyr here with IGM for Let's Try on a game called Skyward Collapse. It's a turn-based strategy game that plays out like a board game where you control all the sides. And rather than trying to win, the whole point is to make sure nobody loses. You have to keep the balance and keep anyone from dying and dominating. In this way, it's a god game, because you can't actually control the land and, well, each side, but you can smite pieces of the ground and break them away. You can summon gods in if the sides have resources. And it's just really weird to play a game that, again, the purpose is not to win, it is to continue. To win the games, you have to survive through the number of rounds that you choose to have the game last. Start up a new one. Gonna go with normal, I think, just because I'm not really afraid to have it to lose here. It's not a problem if it goes badly, but I don't think hard would even necessarily last the video. And I don't really like playing easy. This strategy games I've noticed, normal isn't normal. Like this, score multiplayer times 2. You would think it would be times 1, but that's where easy's at. And of course there's tutorial and also sandbox. But I would do sandbox, but it has no rules, no limits. There's no cost to your actions, there's no resource cost, there's no nothing. You just create the game and that's serious god mode. You can do anything as fast as you want. So yeah, and then score requirement for winning goes up. So you can actually, you set multiple difficulty levels. And the woes, which are natural disasters, or not so natural, disasters, basically. Oh, I didn't even notice this before. Sky image. Let's go with that one. There is multiplayer. Have not messed with it. Mostly they talk about it being a co-op multiplayer, so I'm guessing you control the different sides. But your point is still not to win. You're working with your friend, with your whoever you're playing with, to keep the game going and last throughout the stage. You've got 30, 40, or 50 rounds. We're obviously going to go with 30. Not necessarily going to make it. But we'll try. And then these are the different ground types, map types that you can start with. Very difficult map. Sure, why not? Let's go get our butts kicked. The setup round, everything is free, but you still have your action points. Actually, you use one, generally, action point to build things. Well, mostly you build things. You build resources, you build resource finishers, you build military units, other random buildings, most of which are locked. I'm guessing they open up. You cannot place this till your personal profiles reach level 2. Okay, so as you play games and win them, hopefully, your personal score, your personal level will increase. So that games you play after that, you can use these things in. And it just kind of gets higher, level 13. And then of course you can create your own ground if you want. And just, yeah, slap stuff in there. Some of these obviously looks like do take more than one action point. Direct actions. Most of these do take more than one action point, rather than most of them not. Mythological stuff. This is where the game breakers come into play. You can put them in the beginning of the game like this, but as the tutorial says, it's not the best idea because they can seriously unbalance, and after the setup stage, it takes a long time to be able to afford these guys. So we're just going to start with the basics. Need some military units. Not going to go with siege. As you noticed, you only have a limited range that you can build in. So, build some basics. Wood and rock, you use them for like everything. Pig, it's food, obviously. It actually turns into bacon. A little bit of a sense of humor there. Sheep and wheat are also food, but I believe, or no, sheep are, what do the sheep turn into? Mutton. Okay, yeah, they're food, and then the wheat is bread. But some of those units, I believe, are used, well, hell, even bacon. Some of this stuff is used for random things. You use them as like offerings to summon, essentially, the mythological units. It's all very interesting. Basically, they're just random resources. And your military units, it takes stuff to build the things, But then, as they're sitting there, they won't produce units until you have enough whatever resource that unit takes in order to create it. So they'll sit there and not do anything for quite a while, but you have to have them. Horse meat is important. I've noticed that it's not really the horses you want, it's the horse meat, which is really, really bizarre. Iron. You notice you can drop them in open space, or you can drop them on normal areas, like so. Let's throw... Oh, seers are important. Oh, whoops. I just ran out of actions. That's not going to go well. Okay, intern. Intern is at the bottom of your bar over there. And just until you hit that, you can do whatever you want to. This is where the turn-based part comes into play. Gotta start with the basics. And go from there. Unfortunately, the stuff that you put further in front of the city, closer to the enemy city, is the stuff that has the higher chance to get destroyed. And if stuff gets destroyed, it essentially blocks that spot permanently. You can't move it, it doesn't rebuild, it's just a dead spot. And since you're limited on spots you can build things, it sucks. Hardcore. Oh, I forgot to give that other town a butcher too. Whoops! Yeah, this might not go so well. I was just kind of slapping stuff down and not thinking, oh, I'm out of actions. Alright, first turn, Age of Man. Seems like as you, kind of like Civilization and stuff, where it goes through the deck, through the generations, it goes from Age of Man to Age of Monsters seems to be the end. I'm not sure if there's anything in between or not. We'll have to see if there's anything. I cannot build the butcher yet. Why doesn't that surprise me? I need stuff. Alright, well, it's a start. What can I do then? Oh, I never built carpenter and stonemason? No wonder I don't have any materials. Now, obviously, on the right over here is your raw resources and your finished goods. Each of the finishing spots only generates so many per turn. Like, where is it at? Stonemason. 1 cut stone from 3 rocks. On demand per turn. Anything else I can do? Oh, now I can make the butcher, which I need. And let's go with the smithy, maybe? Oh, nope, I'm out of action points. End turn. Alright, what do we do here? I don't have any pigs. Boy, I did not start off too well. I was adding in things like the seer, which are really useful, but not something you have to start with. But you know what? Why not make them a little bit different? Nothing says you have to build both cities the same way. And now when you hit end turn after having done both of these guys, that's when it actually starts. As you noticed, it didn't do too much though. They built an archer. A couple of new little spots popped up. And that was that. Moving on to the next turn. Especially in the beginning, before things start really building, there's a lot of that. It's just, you know, you hit one thing, and that's it. Turn's over. Throw the potter. And the baker, and that's all I can do. You have 3 turns every time, but if you don't spend all your turns, you can hit end turn and totally save them. So, if you don't spend one of your actions, next turn you'll have 4 actions instead of 3. However, it caps out at 9, so you don't want to go beyond that if they're important. If your sides are unbalanced and one side's always running out of turns because the other side's beating them and they're desperate, the other side may have 9 turns all the time because you don't want to support them too much if they're already winning. You in fact tend to use your turns on things like smiting to, you know, chop the thing away and make them reroute themselves, so it takes them longer to get to the other side. I wasted a turn doing that, but, you know, whatever, you get the idea. And what else? Bakery. And that's that. You can obviously set the speed of these guys, too. It's 1 regular speed, twice the speed, 4 times the speed, 8 times the speed. It moves very quickly. Unfortunately, 1 time moves very slowly, but with how it snaps between between units, once their turn ends, it just immediately snaps to the next one, which can be a little disorienting. Takes some getting used to, that's for sure. Fletcher. See, on this row, all I'm really looking for is the ones that are lit up, but have a 0 beneath them. So I know that I can build them, but I don't have any of them currently. And that's all I can do. The ones that are grayed out, obviously I don't have enough resources for, and the number tells you how many you've got. Once you fill up all of the spots around your main city, that's all you can do, until you can afford to build another town center. Which is only 10 ore, or 10 rocks, 10 cut stone rather. So it's really not that much, if you could save up for it. However, early on, you end up spending all of your points and all of your resources quickly. Those ruins that pop up give a bonus to the first, however, I think it's 2 people that find them. Which means blue side is already kind of dominating the map because they have 2 units. Even though I built them pretty much the same, blue side is progressing differently. They're focusing more on, or maybe it's just the fact that I'm leaving them those resources, potentially inadvertently. There's a lot of depth and strategy if you pay attention and really get involved. It's really simple to pick up and play, but don't expect to master it for a little while. Like here, I don't think there's anything I can do. I don't have any resources. Now you can plop down individual resources, but somebody has to actually go out there and pick them up. So if you don't have any units, it doesn't do any good. And you can't control your units, so there's no saying that they'll actually go out and grab them. Like, what am I short on? I can use some wood. Slap that out there. Right now I have nobody that can go pick it up though. So let's tease these guys. They can use some ore. Put some rocks out here. Right beside them both. See if they go pick it up. My bet, probably not. I think they're just gonna take a direct route to my city. But let's see. See? He completely ignored it. And he went for the ruins and ignored the rocks. That's the part that just really sucks about AI. There's nothing you can do about it. You don't control the size. You are playing the god. You're helping them develop the world, but you don't really have any sort of hands-on in the war. You can turn the tide by creating these mythological units once you can afford them. But that's a little ways into the match. Thankfully, the regular guys don't hurt the buildings very much. Like, you can do repair, but he's only mixing 600 out of 1,000 hit points. And as far as I've been able to find, repair will fully repair it, no matter how many hit points they've got. I've only done 3,000 or 4,000, I think, in one shot, because that's all they were down. But it pretty much tells me that it isn't really a problem to fully repair them. I don't really need a siege unit. I could build more of the... But it doesn't do me any good to build more of the military things when they aren't developed or producing units anyway. You can throw down these tokens, but they're useful for the people that pick them up. Which, right now, this site has no units. Not useful. Also can't build anything. Can build a school. That looks like it increases the development of your units. They come out stronger, as opposed to having to level up. Because you can use unit up here to increase the level of your units. But it takes resources to do. 24 bacon, 6 melee weapons, and 6 bread. That's where the food comes in. It's not a sustaining factor so much as a leveling factor. So let's just hit in turn and see what happens. Oh, finally got a unit. And he almost killed him in one shot. Is he actually going to go for the wood? Interesting. Unfortunately, you cannot heal the units. That's healing the barracks. I can't heal the guy. It just doesn't work. I can upgrade him. It'll give him a little bit of a heal, but it won't actually heal him. Let's throw a school in here too. That used up most of my resources though. And yeah, this is pretty much how they go. Let's in turn real quick. I can slap one of these down and really just throw this out of balance. That gives the first 5 people, the first 5 units that grab it, 3 times attack bonus and full immunity attack from bandits. Bandits have not shown up in this map yet, but I'm also not very far into it. That, however, I believe was the bandit. Bandits, both sides will fight together to defeat if they're in the way. But they're totally willing to ignore him and fight my city too, destroy it. Which again takes forever. However, I've noticed once some ballista start appearing from the bandit headquarters, those things can wipe out one of your buildings in a turn basically. They just devastate it. It's horrible. Unfortunately, I don't believe I'm going to be able to develop enough resources to really pull out the god units within this match. They take a lot of incense, and some of them take more than that. A Frostshine, 54 incense. I don't develop it that quickly. But yeah, that is Skyward Collapse. It's a very board game style, god game, turn-based strategy game, however you want to look at it. God board game, which is really kind of a interesting concept, one of a kind. Not something you see all the time. I'm glad it's not RTS. It gives me a little more of a chance at it. But you definitely have to like the kind of slow games to enjoy it, and deep strategy games. It's worth a try though. Check it out for yourself, and thank you for joining me. I will catch you all next time. See you later. Thanks for joining us here at IGM, and make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay on top of all the latest indie news, gaming, and reviews. And be sure to let us know what you want to see by leaving us a like, comment, or favorite so that we can continue to develop content best suited for you.